Hi, everybody. Welcome to Miss Brown's home recording studio. You've tuned in to part 3 of our series, Big Ideas That Influenced American Thought in the Industrial Age. This is an ed puzzle, and the goal is for it to be easy, the questions that is. So if you don't know the answer when an ed puzzle question like pops up, there's a little thing at the bottom that says rewatch, and it'll just rewind the video a little bit, and then you can get the answers, okay? The idea is just to kind of, the questions are thrown in there to keep it a little more engaging and interactive as we go through it. So today's big idea, social Darwinism. Remember what 1 and 2 are? Okay, so here we go. The ideas of social Darwinism are based on the ideas of Charles Darwin, who wrote a book called The Origin of Species back in 1859. He was British, and it's about evolution and the theory of natural selection. So here's the quick science lesson. All life forms vary slightly. Some people are faster than others. Some have longer necks than others. Some history teachers talk too much. Through heredity, traits are passed down to the next generation. You think I'm bad? You should see my son. Anyway, so through heredity, these traits are passed down to the next generation. So people who have, like giraffes, maybe who have longer necks, that pass those traits down to the next generation. Life is a struggle to survive. It's not so easy to be a giraffe. If you have a longer neck, though, you can beat out the other giraffes to get like more leaves on the higher branches. And so those that have those traits that give an advantage are more likely to survive. Thus, those traits will be more likely to be passed down to the next generation. And over time, giraffes will have longer necks. Cheetahs will be faster so that they can outrun their prey. Okay? That's the idea. And there's a natural selection to this process. And so this is all, sort of done naturally through biology. So let's see what happens now when we take those ideas of science and apply them to human behavior. And that's where you get this idea of social Darwinism. Now, Darwin himself didn't come up with this idea at all. In fact, what it really was a bunch of philosophers, both in the United States and in Great Britain. And what they did was they applied Darwin's theory of evolution to human society or life. Okay. And they called it survival of the fittest and argued that some people are more fit than others. And so this could explain why it is that some people were wealthier than others, why some people were more successful in business than others, and why other people were poorer. Okay. And so we're going to take a look at the theme book, and I am going to switch to that. So here we go. Here's the theme book. If you pause the video for a minute, you'll see that we went over those first few things here. Okay. So I want to just emphasize these last 3 points here, that according to people who believe this is a natural process, that some Americans are superior than others. This isn't my idea. This is an idea. Okay. And there's a certain amount of discomfort I think a lot of us have with this idea, which makes sense. And then I want you to notice this last point. It says freedom and liberty will to compete are going to allow the people who are the most fit to rise. And that should immediately trigger in you a reaction to this, the other themes of laissez-faire and rags to riches. So if you want to scroll up, you can kind of review those themes, but this idea of laissez-faire that allows freedom to compete. And so naturally, the best and the brightest, those are going to be the ones that are most successful. And those are the ones that are going to be able to move from rags to riches. But there's a negative, counterweight to this, and that is that it can lead to othering, and to people who aren't able to survive or who can't succeed in business are sort of viewed as othered and lesser human beings, and that's a pretty uncomfortable idea. So take a minute, pause the video, jot down some thoughts in your theme book that you can then transfer to your like hard copy of the theme book at a later time. So, which kind of equality would a social Darwinist support? And maybe to help you with that, take a look at this image, which we looked at earlier. Okay. On the left, equal opportunity, that everyone gets the same chance. And on the right, equal result, sometimes known as equity. Not everyone starts out from the same place. So some need help to have the same opportunity. So again, whoops. The question is, what kind of social of equality would a social Darwinist support? Take a minute, answer the question. Hopefully you got that right. Equal opportunity, right? Rags to riches. If Andrew Carnegie could do it, so could you. So the idea is as long as everyone has an equal shot, well, some people are going to naturally rise to the top. So they don't necessarily believe in equal result because not everyone is created the same. But the $64,000 question that we really need to think about is, did everyone really have an equal opportunity? We can ask that question about the late 19th century during the time period of our unit, and we can ask that question today. So, did they? According to Andrew Carnegie, they did. Okay. If I could do it, so could you. That's what he believes. So, let's take a look at his philosophy. He says, while the law of competition may sometimes be hard on the individual, it is best for the race. And by race here, he means the human race, because it ensures the survival of the fittest. We accept and welcome, therefore, great inequalities of environment as being not only beneficial, but essential to the future progress of the race. So, according to the passage above, Carnegie believes that inequality is okay. True or false? True. He says it's true. We accept and welcome, therefore, great inequalities of environment. And this is going to be helpful to allow human beings to create amazing things, whether it's oil to light America's homes or steel to rebuild the cities and to build railroad tracks and plows and reapers and things like that. So, one of the key problems, though, that this results in is, and one of the key problems of capitalism and this whole time period that we're talking about in this unit, is the gap between the haves and the have-nots. And can't think of any better way to explain this than looking at these two images side by side of Carnegie's summer home and a typical apartment building in Pittsburgh, which is where a lot of his workers in his steel mills lived in the early 1900s. It's a pretty stark difference. So, social Darwinism would be used to justify the inequalities of which of these three big ideas? Capitalism, socialism, or communism? Hopefully, you got that right. Capitalism. More on that next time we meet. So, thanks for watching.